as much as everybody else did. But for some reason, that year, we got to go to a party that my parents were catering. My mom was catering. And it was done at a fancy place. In Milwaukee, the wealthy people are called barons. The beer barons are very wealthy. They have the estates down on the lakefront. So we got to go. And to me, it was a big thing because you wore your Sunday best. And there was going to be a Santa Claus there. Now, to a poor person, Santa Claus is out there, and it's a privilege to go see him because your parents had to pay money, and you had to look nice in your best suit. And it may be the only picture you're taking each year, so you better do your best. And then the Catholic nuns taught us there's 3 things you do if you ever meet a Santa Claus. 1, you pray for something for your family, you pray for something for someone else, and then maybe say something for yourself. Now, I don't know exactly the whole story. I don't know exactly what I said to Santa. In fact, I was told I peed on Santa's lap. Well, all I know is I must have prayed for someone for my mom. I don't know what I prayed for someone else. And I don't know what I prayed exactly for myself. But the funny thing was, Santa gave us a ride home. I don't know if it was because we were in a storm, we had taken the bus to this party, I don't know. But Santa gave us a ride home. Now, I'm this 3-year-old kid. Santa knows me. I don't know if Mommy kissed Santa Claus. You have to ask my sister that. All I know is Santa now knows where I live. So I went and I told everybody at the daycare, Santa came to my house. Santa knows where I live. And I thought everybody would be excited and happy. But the nuns are like, no, this doesn't make sense. You could not have seen Santa. I know your family. Your family is poor. There's no way your mom could afford you to go see Santa. So then they call my sister, who is 3 years older. We're going to get this straight, and we're going to stop Bob's story. Funny thing is, my sister backed me up right away. Totally true. So now we're both being punished for seeing Santa, which I thought everybody would be so excited, because to me, Santa was the closest thing to God. Santa, if you were good, granted you wishes. And suddenly, they're telling me I was bad because I saw Santa. I don't know. They called my mom. I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know how it got resolved, except for one thing. That person who was Santa became my stepdad at Easter. So to me, that is, Hallmark has nothing on me. Okay? But as a little kid, you can just imagine Santa being like God. Santa knew if you were good or bad. Santa knew every little secret about you. And Santa granted you wishes. I don't know what voice I had, but that person heard my voice and answered my voice. That person, to me, at that age, was a symbol of God. So I'm going to ask you, first of all, what does God look like to you? Does God change in his perceptions? Some people would say God is the powerful muscle builder who can do anything and accomplish everything. Some people would say God is like John Haas here, the professor who has all the answers and knows everything, and the person you can come to as a dictionary or Google. Some people would say God is the ultimate holy judge and ruler that decides what is good and bad. Some people would say God is the peace guru, the sensu, the ideal that we strive to reach. Some people would say God is mysterious. He comes and goes. He's like James Bond in 007. We don't know when he's here or when he's not here. What does God look like to you? Have you seen him today? Was he different from yesterday? Question number 2, where is God? As a child, I grew up in a Christian home, a Baptist home of all things. And as a little kid, I remember, I think it was George Beverly Shea used to sing this. How big is God? Big and wide the universe, but yet small enough to live in our hearts. As a kid, I was told God, Jehovah, the Great Spirit, the source, whatever, was in our hearts. And we could call on him, and he was with us all times. But the more I began to study and learn about God, somehow God moved from here to out there. God is in heaven. We got to pray to God. And we can't pray to him by ourselves. So we got to have Mary, an apostle, someone else that we give our message to, quote, reach this God. Is God in heaven? Is God a state of mind? Does God speak to us through dreams, visions, illusions? Does God talk to us? Do we talk to God? Or does God write to us in letters, i.e. the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, the Science of Mind book? How does God speak to us? Where are you getting this information from? And it's different for everybody. And yet it's the same for everybody. Now I'm going to have you do a little skit or a little perception. And it's going to be fast. I'm going to snap my fingers. I want you to look at the person next to you. And I'm going to snap my fingers. I'm going to have you look back. Okay? Okay? In your mind, what was the first thing you noticed? Okay? Shh. I don't want anybody to say anything. The first thing you noticed. Was it something similar to you? Was it something different from you? Was it something that you resonate with? Did you like it? Did you not like it? And why? Was it the only thing you saw? Or was there a few other things behind it? Was it a characteristic? Was it a color? Was it a shape? Was it a distinct quality that you liked or that you despised? Guess what? They are all parts of God, whether you saw it that way or not. But my biggest question was, did you see love? If you didn't see love, you weren't looking strong enough. And it's hard to say. And we all struggle with it because things come and go, and we have our own perceptions of it. One of my favorite poems is by Pierce Pettis, and it's called That Kind of Love. cannot be brought or faked, that kind of love. It always gives itself away, that kind of love. It's wiser than the wisest sage. Its innocence makes me ashamed, till I'm not sure that I can claim that kind of love. Pride and hatred cannot stand that kind of love, and greater love hath no man than that kind of love. It won't be kept unto itself. It spreads its claim. It casts a spell, till I'm not safe this side of, can't say that word, that kind of love. Love rejected and ignored, sometimes held behind closed doors, stuff of legend and of song. But deep down, everybody knows and longs for that kind of love. Some people may never know that kind of love, though it only takes a child to show that kind of love. Widows smile and strong men weep, and little ones can play at its feet. The deaf can hear it, the blind can see it, that kind of love. Love triumphant, love on fire, love that humbles and inspires. Love that does not hesitate, with no conditions, no restraints. That kind of love. Oh, that kind of love. How could anyone deny that kind of love, knowing every heart is measured by that kind of love? Even stars can fall from the sky, and everything will fall in time, except those things that cannot die. That kind of love. Oh, may we be remembered by that kind of love. So, with that in mind, how do we find God? Bob, that sounds so good, that sounds so ideal, but I struggle with that. Guess what? So do I. I think we all do. But guess what? God does not hide. God is not where's Waldo out there. And yet, for a lot of us, that's what we look for. God is somewhere out there hiding. Somewhere out there that sometimes we can't see. There are two verses in the Bible that, to me, within the last couple weeks have been profound. And they both come from Psalms. The first one is, seek the Lord and his strength. Seek his face evermore. Last week we sang about we are the face of God. Who is the we? Is it just the people in here, the people like us, or is it also the people out there? If it's not the people out there, why? And do they see us as the face of God? If we can't see them as the face of God, how do we expect them to see us as the face of God? The second one is Psalms 104, the second part. I will not know a wicked person. It's a state of mind. No one, to me, can be evil. If you look at the word evil, half the world sees it E-V-I-L-E. E-V-I-L, sorry. I was not good at spelling. But the other half reads it backwards. And they see live. How do we see it? What stops us from that? The answer is fear. Fear can look like all different things to all different people. In Science of Mind magazine this month, and we had just read it, a reader for all seasons, Ernest Holmes, says, fear is neither a person, place, nor thing. Fear is a certain way of mentally looking at things and then reacting to them. Fear is not an entity, but a mental state, a state of thought and feeling. So since fear is not an entity, you can overcome it. because you are an entity. And it's not easy. I can't even say I have the answers. But to me, there's a song I saw several months ago, and it's stuck in my head. And to me, this is my way of overcoming fear. And it's called Dear Fear. You've been by my side, yet I'm still lonely. When all the lights go out, your shadow grows. Despite all the times I've tried, you still owe me. The scars from our battlegrounds, no one knows. I find the words, you drown them out. I think I'm safe, you make me doubt. No one wins in this game, but who's to blame? Can we get what we want? Take a moment to stop and breathe. Maybe to set me free, I'll let you tell me the world you see. I'm not afraid. The monster I thought you'd be is changing the closer you get to me. I'm not afraid. You fill my head with lies so convincing. Your cost is always more than I can pay. Whenever I try to hide, you always find me. A picture inside my head without a face. But I surrender honestly to what is and what will be. Your notes fill in the symphony in me. So, maybe to set me free, I'll let you tell me the world you see. I'm not afraid. Maybe the monster I thought you'd be is changing the closer you get to me. I'm not afraid. Oh, but maybe I'm not afraid. Oh, maybe I'm set free.
Thank you, Bob.